At dawn, Abuja still slept under a pale orange sky when Amara Okafor tied her scarf and stepped into the marble corridor of the Adewale mansion. The air smelled of Polish and perfume. Wealth had its own fragrance here. She moved silently, mop in hand, her reflection rippling across glass floors that cost more than her yearly salary. Every stroke of her mop carried both humility and hidden resentment. From the balcony, Damila Adewale, the billionaire's only son, leaned lazily against the rail, phone in hand. "You missed a spot," he said without looking up. His voice dripped with casual arrogance. Amara froze. "He's not even looking at me," she thought. She forced a polite smile. "I'll clean it again, sir." He smirked. "Good. The guests coming today shouldn't think we hire half-hearted staff." His words cut deeper than she wanted to admit. Later, during her short break, she slipped into the laundry room, her private sanctuary, and pulled a small sketchbook from under a pile of linens. Pencil in hand, she began sketching a gown, emerald green with soft gold trims. Fashion design was a secret escape, the dream she never confessed to anyone but Ngozi, her best friend and fellow maid. Ngozi entered quietly, holding 2 cups of zobo. "You're sketching again." Amara smiled faintly. "One day, Ngozi, just one day, someone will wear my design." Ngozi grinned. "You'll wear it yourself. You'll show them you're more than this mop." Amara laughed, but her eyes were wistful. The sound of Damila's laughter floated from the hall, rich, mocking, careless. Something inside her stirred, fragile yet fiery. That night, alone in the servants' quarters, she whispered to herself, "I'm tired of being invisible." She didn't know that the same house that buried her dignity would soon become the stage for her transformation. Abuja buzzed with anticipation. Banners across Maitama announced Chief Adewale's 60th birthday gala, an invitation-only affair where business deals were sealed with champagne. The mansion became a construction site of luxury. Crystal chandeliers were delivered, imported flowers filled the courtyard, and chefs rehearsed their menus like musicians before a concert. For Amara and the rest of the staff, it meant exhaustion. Damila barked orders like a commander. "I want the floors spotless, the chandeliers glowing. If I see one fingerprint, someone's fired." Hours turned to days of endless scrubbing. Amara's hands cracked from detergent. Her back ached. Yet she kept working, driven by something beyond duty, pride. One afternoon, she overheard 2 elite guests touring the mansion. "I can't imagine being a maid," one woman whispered. "They smell like bleach and dreams they'll never reach." The laughter that followed tightened Amara's chest. That night, after everyone left, she sat by the window with her sketchbook again. Her candlelight flickered over the pages as she drew the gown she'd imagined months ago, bold, regal, and unforgettable. "One day," she murmured, "I'll wear something that makes them bow their heads instead." But even she didn't know destiny was listening. Morning sunlight streamed through the courtyard as Amara scrubbed marble steps. A black Range Rover pulled up, and from it stepped Toby Olowell, a calm, neatly dressed young entrepreneur meeting Chief Adewale about a real estate partnership. As he waited, he noticed Amara struggling with a stubborn stain. "You've been at that spot for a while," he said kindly. Startled, she looked up, her brown eyes meeting his. "It's my job, sir." He smiled. "You do it with dedication. That's rare these days." They talked briefly, and when he noticed a sketchbook half hidden nearby, curiosity flickered. "You draw." Embarrassed, she nodded. "Just dresses. Nothing serious." Toby opened a page and studied her design. "This isn't nothing. This is talent." Before she could respond, Damila's sharp voice echoed. "Toby, you're here." He strode down the stairs, sunglasses gleaming. His eyes darted to Amara and then back to Toby with a mocking grin. "Hope she wasn't bothering you, bro. Our staff sometimes forget their place." Amara's face burned. Toby frowned. "She wasn't bothering me. She's brilliant." Damila laughed dismissively. "Brilliant? She's a cleaner." When they left, Amara's throat tightened. But Toby's last words stayed with her. "You have more worth than they can ever see." That night, she whispered those words to herself until she believed them. 3 days before the party, the mansion buzzed like a beehive. Waiters rehearsed serving routines. Stylists prepared for celebrity guests. Demilla, still amused by Amora's brief moment of attention, decided to make her the night's joke. He handed her a shiny invitation and smirked. "Since you're so fascinated by parties and billionaires, why don't you join us? Wear one of your designs." The staff burst into laughter. "Cleaner turned guest," one teased. Amora's face flushed crimson. She wanted to tear the card apart, but then she remembered Ngozi's words, "You'll show them one day." She raised her chin. "Fine, I'll come." Laughter turned to silence. Even Demilla was taken aback. "You?" "Yes," she said steadily. "You invited me. I'll be there." That evening, she told Ngozi everything. Her friend's eyes sparkled. "Then we'll make your dress. I'll help you sew." With borrowed fabric from a local market and every kobo she'd saved, Amara spent nights stitching her dream into reality. Blood pricked her fingertips. Thread knotted, but determination burned brighter than fatigue. Each seam whispered defiance. When she finally held the gown against her body, emerald and gold shimmered like hope itself. "This," Ngozi said breathlessly, "isn't a dress. It's revenge sewn with grace." Amara smiled softly. "No, it's a rebirth." The evening of the gala arrived. Abuja's skyline glowed with fireworks as motorcades filled the streets leading to the Adiwale mansion. In a cramped room behind the servants' quarters, Amara stood before a cracked mirror. Ngozi brushed out her thick curls and applied light makeup, golden shimmer on dark skin, deep red lips, and confidence. When Amara slipped into the emerald gown, time seemed to pause. The mirror reflected not a cleaner, but a queen reborn. Her hands trembled slightly. What if they laugh again? Ngozi held her shoulders. "Then let them choke on it. You don't walk into that hole as staff. You walk in destiny." The moment Amara stepped into the car that a sympathetic driver offered, the cool night wind kissed her face like approval from heaven. At the mansion, security paused, confused, before letting her in. Guests toned. Conversations hushed. Cameras clicked. The chandelier light caught her dress, scattering emerald fire across the hall. Demilla's laughter died mid-sentence. His jaw slackened. His friend stayed, speechless. Chief Ediwale looked toward the entrance, wondering which dignitary had arrived, and saw the girl he never noticed before. Every step Amara took down that marble staircase erased years of humiliation. Each heartbeat whispered the same truth: they don't own your worth. By the time she reached the ballroom floor, every head had turned, and the story that would shake Abuja's elite had just begun. My Tama glittered that night. Luxury SUVs lined the driveway. Security lights washed the marble walls in gold, and photographers jostled to capture Nigeria's richest stepping from their cars. Inside the Adiwale mansion, violins hummed, champagne towers shimmered, and the air pulsed with money. Amora stood at the entrance, heartbeat loud in her ears. For a second she almost turned back. Then she remembered every insult, every laugh, every late-night sewing by candlelight. She squared her shoulders and stepped in. Silence rippled through the hall. Heads turned. Conversations paused. A few gasps slipped out. "Who is she?" whispered a senator's wife. "Some foreign guest, maybe," murmured another. Amora's emerald gown flowed like liquid light. Gold threads caught the chandelier glow and cast a regal aura around her. Each step clicked against marble, echoing louder than any music. By the buffet, Demilla froze mid-conversation, the grin dying on his lips. "Wait, that can't be." His friend chuckled. "Bro, you seeing what I'm seeing? The maid? No way." Amora's gaze met his, calm, steady, almost pitying. That glance burned through his pride. Then Toby Olawale appeared, immaculate in a black tuxedo. He blinked, then smiled widely. "I almost didn't recognize you," he whispered. "You look incredible." "Thank you," she replied softly, her voice trembling just enough to betray nerves. The orchestra began a soft high-life tune. Amora's fingers tightened on her clutch. She moved among Abuja's elite with quiet grace. Every camera in the room followed her. For the first time, the cleaner wasn't invisible. She was unforgettable. Whispers buzzed like mosquitoes. "That woman, is she a minister's daughter? Maybe Chief Ediwale's secret mistress?" Rumors fed the night. Amara pretended not to hear, but each comment felt like a tiny needle. Still, her chin remained high. Near the bar, Demilla approached, fury simmering under his charm. "Enjoying yourself?" he asked through clenched teeth. "Very much," she answered. "Thank you for inviting me." His jaw tightened. "You're making a fool of yourself. You don't belong here." She smiled faintly. "I belong anywhere I choose to stand, so." The confidence in her tone made him falter. She turned and walked away, leaving him speechless for perhaps the first time in his pampered life. Toby joined her, offering a glass of sparkling juice. "Ignore them," he murmured. "Half the people here wear masks thicker than makeup." Amara chuckled softly. "I've cleaned enough mirrors to know how fake reflections can be." They laughed together, a natural, warm sound in a room of calculated laughter. Guests watched. Some smiled approvingly, others narrowed their eyes. Chief Adiwale noticed too. "Who's that young woman?" he asked one of his managers. "Invite her to greet me later." Demilla overheard and nearly choked on his drink. The woman he'd mocked hours ago was about to share a stage with his father. The tension coiled tighter, and destiny smiled. The band struck a richer melody. Couples drifted to the dance floor beneath the chandelier's crystal rain. Toby turned to Amara. "May I?" Her instinct screamed no. The eyes, the gossip, but something deeper whispered yes. She placed her hand in his. His palm was warm, steady. As they moved to the rhythm, murmurs turned into open stays. The cleaner and the businessman glided like royalty. "Everyone's watching," she whispered. "Let them," he said. "You earned this moment." Their laughter mingled with the music. Even Chief Adiwale nodded in approval. Demilla, from the sidelines, clenched his fists. The jealousy that pricked his chest wasn't just pride. It was confusion. How had the maid become magnetic? When the song ended, applause rippled through the hall. Toby bowed slightly. "Thank you for trusting me," he said. Amara smiled. "Thank you for seeing me." Cameras flashed. Influencers posted instantly. Mystery lady steals a show at Adiwale party. Chief Adiwale approached, beaming. "Young woman, I must say, you carry yourself with grace. What's your name?" "Amara Okafor, sir," she replied. He blinked. "The cleaner?" "Yes, sir." Instead of ridicule, laughter of surprise and admiration filled his face. "You're proof that elegance is not bought, it's born." The guest applauded again. Demilla's throat tightened. What had begun as a joke was turning into a coronation. Pride wounded, Demilla gathered his friends in a corner. "We can't let this circus continue," he hissed. "They are treating her like royalty." "So what do we do?" one asked. "We tell the truth," he sneered. Moments later, as the whole applauded another toast, Demilla's friend grabbed a microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen," he called, laughter curling at the edges. "Before you all fall in love with our mysterious guest, let me reveal her true identity." The crowd quieted. Amara froze mid-sip. "She's not a socialite or designer," the man continued smugly. "She's our maid, the cleaner who mops these very floors." Gasps, murmurs. Cameras swung toward her face. Amara's knees trembled, then steadied. She stepped forward, took the MIC gently from his hand, and faced the crowd. "Yes," she said, voice calm. "I am the cleaner. I wipe the dust you leave behind. But I also sew. I dream. I create. My hands may be calloused, but they built beauty from scraps. So tell me, who among us is truly small?" A hush fell. Then one woman began to clap. Another joined. Within seconds, the entire room erupted in applause. Chief Adiwale rose, proud yet ashamed of his son. "Well said, young lady." Demilla's face flushed crimson. Every camera caught it, the arrogance collapsing in public view. Amara handed the MIC back and smiled faintly. "Now, if you'll excuse me, I believe I still have a dance left." That single line broke the internet the next morning. By dawn, Abuja was buzzing. Clips of Amara's speech flooded TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. #TheCleanerInEmerald trended #1. Radio hosts debated her courage. She faced Abuja's elite and didn't flinch, one said. Fashion bloggers replayed slow-motion videos of her gown. Comment sections filled with hearts and fire emojis. Meanwhile, Demiller woke to chaos. His phone wouldn't stop buzzing, not with praise, but mockery. Memes of his shocked face circulated online. When a maid humbles a billionaire's son, Chief Ediwale summoned him. You humiliated yourself, not her, the patriarch thundered. Apologize publicly or stay away from my business entirely. Across town, Amara sat with Ngozi in their small room, scrolling through a newfound fame in disbelief. They are calling me inspirational, she whispered. Ngozi grinned. You are. A knock interrupted them. It was Toby, holding a bouquet. Congratulations, Amara, he said, smiling. You're famous, and it's only the beginning. I spoke to a designer friend. She wants to meet you today. Tears welled in her eyes. From mop bucket to headlines, it felt surreal. She looked out the window at the sunrise over Abuja and whispered, Thank you, God, for giving me one night to prove I'm more than what they saw. And somewhere across the city, Demiller stared at a photo on his phone, realizing, too late, that the woman he once despised had become the symbol of everything he secretly envied: courage, authenticity, and grace. 2 days after the party, Amara still couldn't believe it had happened. Every news outlet had covered her story. Cleaner turns heads at Abuja Billionaire'S gala. Her photo, radiant and emerald, was on every social feed. But fame didn't pay bills. After her morning prayers, she slipped back into her uniform and returned to wake, determined to stay humble. Inside the mansion, whispers followed her. The same staff who once mocked her now stared with admiration. Madame Amara, one joked nervously. Demiller avoided her completely. Shame had replaced arrogance. His father's silence was worse than anger, disappointment that filled the house like heavy air. By afternoon, a sleek SUV rolled into the compound. Toby stepped out, smiling warmly. Still working hard, I see. She chuckled shyly. Fame doesn't sweep flaws. He grinned. Maybe it shouldn't have to. He handed her a brown envelope. My friend, Aisha Bello, creative director of AB Fashion House, wants to meet you. She saw your designs online. Someone posted your sketch beside your emerald dress. She's impressed. Amara blinked in disbelief. My sketch. Yes. She said anyone who can turn cheap fabric into elegance deserves a chance. The next day, Amara arrived at the studio, trembling, wide-eyed. The air smelled of fabric, steam, and perfume. Aisha Bello, tall and graceful, studied her sketches with professional calm. You made this with your own hands, she asked. Yes, Ma, Amara replied softly. Aisha smiled. Then I'll make you my apprentice. Let's see what these hands can do when given real fabric. Tears filled Amara's eyes. As she looked out the studio window toward the Abuja skyline, she whispered, From mop water to measuring tape, maybe dreams do rise. Meanwhile, Demiller's life was unraveling. His phone calls went unanswered. His father had frozen his corporate responsibilities. The press called him the spoiled heir who mocked humility. For the first time, he felt powerless. Every article about Amara's rise twisted the knife deeper. He scrolled through pictures of her at the studio, smiling beside Aisha Bello and Toby Olawale. Jealousy gnawed at him, but so did guilt. That evening, he drove quietly to the fashion house, parking outside. Through the glass, he saw Amara adjusting fabrics on a mannequin, focused and radiant. She looked free. He didn't enter. He simply watched, remorse heavy on his chest. Later that week, he showed up at the mansion unannounced while Amara came to collect her final paycheck. Amara, he called softly. She froze, then turned slowly. Yes, sir. His tone had changed. No arrogance, no edge. I came to apologize. I was cruel. I thought power was measured by who I could look down on. But you proved me wrong. She studied him in silence, the memory of humiliation flashing behind her calm eyes. I forgive you, she said quietly. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. He nodded, eyes downcast. I understand. When she left, Chief Ediwale appeared from the hallway, arms folded. You see now? Respect is more valuable than money. Demilla swallowed hard. Yes, Dad. He meant it. For the first time, he truly did. 3 months passed. The city buzzed again, this time for the Abuja Young Designers exhibition at Jabi Lake Mall. Amora's mentor, Aisha Bello, had given her a slot to showcase a 5-piece mini collection titled Emerald Dreams. Each gown told her story, rising from dust to destiny. Backstage, she paced nervously, clutching a pendant Ngozi had gifted her. From the quarters to the runway, Ngozi whispered proudly, "God's rewriting your story, my sister." The lights dimmed. Music swelled. One by one, models glided down the runway in Amora's designs, shimmering green, gold, and white pieces symbolizing renewal. The audience gasped. Phones rose, flashes ignited. Among them sat Toby, beaming like a proud manager, and Demilla, hidden behind dark glasses, watching silently. When Amara took her final bow, applause thundered. Aisha hugged her tightly. You just announced yourself to the fashion world. By midnight, social media exploded again. From cleaner to creator, Amara Okafor's Emerald Dreams lights up Abuja. Toby met her outside afterward. You did it. She smiled through tears. We did. You believed first. In the shadows, Demilla whispered to himself, She's everything I pretended to be. Strong. Fame brought beauty and danger. Within weeks, brands called to collaborate, influencers begged for interviews, and gossip pages hunted for scandal. Amara stayed humble. She still prayed each morning before work and visited the staff quarters to encourage old colleagues. But not everyone celebrated her rise. A jealous co-worker at the studio leaked false rumors that Amara used connections to climb. The story spread fast. Toby stormed into her office. Ignore them, he said. People hate what they can't become. But Amara's heart ached. I don't want to lose myself to fame. That night, she returned to the small church she'd cleaned as a teenager. Kneeling before the altar, she whispered, God, if you lift me higher, help me stay low in spirit. A week later, Aisha surprised her. We've been invited to showcase in Ghana next month. You'll represent the brand. Amara gasped, Me? Yes, you're the heart of the story. The Ghana event became a triumph. Reporters praised her poise, calling her the pride of Abuja. Invitations from Lagos and Dubai followed. Meanwhile, Toby grew quiet, hiding his feelings. When she finally asked, Why are you distant? He sighed. I'm proud of you, Amara. I just don't want to be one more person who takes credit for your light. She smiled gently. You're not taking credit. You helped me find the switch. The Adiwale mansion buzzed again, but this time for business, not parties. Chief Adiwale had partnered with Aisha Bello's foundation to promote local fashion entrepreneurs. Aisha insisted Amara attend the meeting. You're the face of the campaign, she said. When Amara arrived, her driver stopped in front of the familiar iron gates. The sight made her heart race. The same gate she once entered carrying cleaning tools now opened for her as an honored guest. Inside, Chief Adiwale stood to greet her. Miss Okafor, he said warmly, it's a privilege. Demilla sat quietly beside him, humbled. His eyes met Hayes, not with shame this time, but with respect. Chief Adiwale continued, I've followed your journey closely. You've reminded this family, and this city, that value doesn't wear uniform. We'd like you to lead our new empowerment initiative for domestic workers. Amara blinked, overwhelmed. Sir, that means everything to me. During the meeting, she spoke passionately about her foundation ideas, free design workshops, financial literacy for housekeepers, education grants for girls. Everyone listened intently, including Demilla. Afterward, as guests departed, he approached her quietly. I'm proud of you, he said. She smiled faintly. Thank you. That means a lot. He hesitated. You know, when I first mocked you, I thought I was untouchable. Now, I'd give anything to have your kind of peace. She looked at him kindly. Peace isn't inherited. It's owned. Chief Adiwale watched them from a distance, a small smile on his lips. He saw what money could never buy. Humility turned into grace. As Amara's car drove away that evening, the mansion lights glowed behind her. The same walls that once witnessed her tears now echoed her victory. She whispered softly, "Never let anyone define your ceiling when your dreams are made of sky." Weeks passed after the Adiwale collaboration meeting, but Demilla couldn't shake Amara's words. Peace isn't inherited. It's owned. They haunted him, yet also guided him. One humid Abuja afternoon, he drove to Gaki Market, jeans and cap hiding his face. He found a local tailor's co-op and quietly paid for new sewing machines under Mora's empowerment pilot. He didn't tell her. He just wanted to fix what he'd broken. Meanwhile, Amora's foundation work grew fast. She began holding Saturday classes for domestic workers at a community center in Jabi. Her message was simple: where you start is not where you must stay. One day, as she taught a group of women how to design simple anchor skates, the door opened, and there stood Demilla, holding bolts of fabric. "I heard you needed supplies," he said softly. The room fell silent. The once arrogant heir now stood humbly among cleaners and cooks. Amora's eyes searched his face. No pretense, no ego, only sincerity. After class, they spoke outside beneath a neem tree. "You didn't have to do this," she said. "I did," he replied. "Not for forgiveness, for peace." She smiled faintly. "Then we both have it." From that day, their hostility turned into friendship. They often met to plan fundraisers and events. For the first time, Demilla worked without flaunting his name. He told a reporter, "She taught me that humility is luxury too." Their story, once of cruelty and shame, had become a testament to redemption. By December, Amora's name was everywhere. Her brand, Emerald Dreams, had blossomed into a full label. When she was nominated for Young Entrepreneur of the Year, she laughed in disbelief. The event would be held at the Transcorp Hilton Hotel Abuja, the same venue where she once scrubbed floors during a catering gig years earlier. On the night of the gala, she stood before her mirror, wearing a gown of her own design, white silk threaded with gold emerald patterns. Her reflection shimmered with destiny fulfilled. Ngozi entered, eyes glistening. "From cleaner to candidate," she whispered. "You're living the story." At the venue, Amara stepped onto the red carpet. Cameras flashed, anchors shouted her name. When asked how she felt, she smiled, grateful, because grace found me where ambition couldn't reach. Inside, Abuja's elite gathered again, but this time, the eyes that once mocked her now admired her. Toby sat near the stage, clapping proudly. Demilla, too, was there, assisting her foundation boo quietly. When her category was announced, the whole dimmed. "And the Young Entrepreneur of the Year goes to," the host paused, "Amara Okafor, Emerald Dreams, Nigeria." The crowd erupted. She froze, tears flooding her eyes as the spotlight found her. Every step to the podium replayed her journey, the mop, the laughter, the gown, the redemption. Her voice trembled as she spoke. "I started with nothing but faith and fabric. If my story means anything, it's that no work is too small and no dream too big. Clean your space, then build your stage." The room rose in a standing ovation. It was more than an award. It was a prophecy fulfilled. After the gala, life softened into rhythm. Toby and Amara grew closer, their friendship deepening into something unspoken but undeniable. He admired her strength, but more than that, her gentleness. She admired his loyalty. He never tried to own her shine, only to amplify it. One evening, after a long day of fittings, Toby took her to Jabi Lake. They sat by the water, city lights dancing across ripples. "You've changed my life," he said quietly. She laughed. "You believed in me first." He shook his head. "No, Amara, you just reminded me what belief looks like." He reached for her hand. "I love you." Her breath caught. The girl who once felt invisible suddenly felt entirely seen. "I love you too," she whispered. They shared their first kiss under Abuja's amber skyline, a gentle sealing of all the chaos that brought them there. Days turned into months of shared purpose, business trips, charity galas, quiet evenings sewing together. He called her his Emerald Queen. She called him her peace in motion. Even Demilla found new joy, dedicating himself fully to the empowerment initiative. The three occasionally collaborated, proof that forgiveness can bloom into unlikely alliances. And through it all, Amara stayed grounded. Fame fades, she told an interviewer, but impact echoes. One humid morning, Amara returned to the Adiwale mansion, not as a worker, but as a creative director chosen to redesign its ballroom for an international fundraiser. As she walked through the grand foyer, every step echoed memories, her mop bucket, her tears, her humiliation. Yet now, staff greeted her with smiles. "Madam Amara, welcome back," said the head butler. She smiled warmly. "Thank you. It's good to be home in a different way." In the ballroom, she directed decorators with confident precision. "Raise the drapes higher. Gold against emerald. That's our theme." Chief Ediwale arrived, extending his hand. "This place has never looked so alive." She bowed slightly, because now it's built with respect, not fear. Later, she found Ngozi among the crew. They hugged tightly, laughing. "Remember when you said you'd wear your design one day?" Ngozi asked. Amara nodded, eyes misty. "Now the mansion that once hid me will wear my design instead." That evening, as she left the property, she turned back one last time. The sun painted the marble walls in gold. She whispered, "Thank you for breaking me enough to build me." The house stood still, silent witness to her victory. Years later, the name Amara Okafor became legend across Africa. Her foundation, Emerald Hearts, trained thousands of women in tailoring, etiquette, and entrepreneurship. In schools, her story became a motivational case study, the cleaner who designed her destiny. On the 10th anniversary of that fateful gala night, a documentary premiered at the Abuja Art Center. The final scene replayed the viral clip, Amara, in her emerald gown, saying, "My dreams are cleaner than your intentions." As the audience stood clapping, Amara, now older, graceful, serene, wiped a tear. Beside her sat Toby, her husband, and their daughter, Z, wearing a tiny emerald dress. During her closing speech, she said, "I used to think I needed a miracle to be seen. But miracles aren't thunder, they are persistence whispered through pain. Never let anyone convince you your background is your barrier. It's your beginning." Afterward, reporters crowded around her. "What's next, Madam Amara?" She smiled. "Legacy. My hands may rest one day, but my story won't." As she stepped onto the balcony overlooking the Abuja skyline, the city lights shimmered like 1,000 emeralds, her crown earned through grace. From somewhere deep within her heart, she heard the echo of a younger self whispering, "One day, they'll see me differently." And she smiled, because they did.